Well, I think success is the ability to take a stand for what is right and to be able to really unleash our potentiality into this world, to make a difference. So rather being defined by our circumstance, but to actually allow whatever we do in life to be something of absolute transformation. In fact, in the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, he said, when you're unable to change your situation, you're challenged to change yourself. And I think as entrepreneurs, that is what we do. We don't buy in to the expectations of society. We don't buy in to the present economic state. We don't participate in that. We participate in what drives us forward and our ability to make an impact on the world. And as entrepreneurs, we all go through those worries and doubts of, will we make it? Will we succeed? What if we do succeed? What if we fail? Are we good enough? Are we capable? And in reality, the only thing which stops us is our perceptions of what is possible. Now I know we can consciously say, well, this is what we want, but beneath the surface, we can have those doubts, and when you begin to discover those and really make the transformation, releasing them, wow, that's when everything transforms. You see, deep down inside of us, we all have the resources, we all have the abilities, the potentiality within us to make that change. We just have to learn the secrets as to how the mind works at an unconscious level, and that is what I've been doing for 15 years now. Really understanding the nature of the mind and how we can make those transformations in the quickest, most enjoyable, profound way. It's amazing. So when I was 9 years old, a teacher made me stand up in front of all my peers. And I was a very shy and fearful child as it was. I mean, I wouldn't even talk to my grandparents, I was that shy. But she made me stand up in front of her, and I saw the glare of everyone looking at me. I felt just everyone's attention on me, and I just started to feel that familiar feeling of fear and dread, and I just wanted to run and get out of there. And of course I didn't know the answer, but that's when the teacher said something to me which had one of the biggest impacts in my life. She said, Joseph, if you don't understand this question, you're not going to get anywhere. And I was like, wow, is this who I am? Is this how I'm going to just end up being a fearful person who's not going to get anywhere? I mean, that was a crazy hard time for me. I mean, that stayed with me for like all the way up till I was like 18 years old. I had dropped out of college because I just didn't believe I was good enough or capable, and I just couldn't understand. So battling through all those trials of trying to get by in school, trying to feel good enough to be able to be who I wanted to be and be able to socialize, and the anxiety, the blushing, the worry, the self-consciousness. It was hard. It really, really was hard. And then one day my dad saw me and he knew I was unhappy. You know how fathers do. And he said, Joseph, you gotta change, you gotta do something. So he told me about this course of understanding the mind, and I was hesitant at first, but you know what, when you've got no options and you don't know how to change, you have to make a decision that only you can change. So I made that decision based on what I had at the time and took that journey. And it was the best thing I ever did, because it taught me how the mind worked and how I can actually get my mind unleashed, to be confident, to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be able to learn. So I set up practices around England and sold them, and helped other people to do the same. So at 18, 19, 20 and so on, I was really making a big difference. I mean, it was a really big difference for me, that is, because I was finally doing something that I loved, and you know what, I believed I was good enough. I knew I was capable, I knew I was going to succeed, and when you reach those feelings, you just know you're going to make it. You're going to make a big difference in this world with the services that we have. And it even got to the point when finding new solutions. I mean, I dropped out of college. I got a D and an E in English. And I wanted to write a book. I mean, how do you write a book if you're terrible at spelling, right? But when you begin to realize the potential of your mind, you realize there's always a solution within us. So I had an some audio equipment, and I decided just to speak my book. I just spoke it, like just raw speaking the truth of how you can be your potential, which was actually what it was called in the end. And I sent it off to the publishers, and the one I really wanted, which was Hay House, they denied it. And I was like, wow, I mean, is this gonna really work? But the interesting thing is, when you have that commitment, things happen. I mean, if you just have that persistence in life. And they came back to me it was about 4 months later, and they said, Joseph, we'd like to be able to take on that book deal. And I achieved one of my dreams. I became a best-selling author with the company or the publisher, which I admired most of, Hay House. It was absolutely crazy to realize that you don't have to be a good writer to write a book. You just have to speak the truth, no matter what form that is, and it works out. Passion and commitment and action always wins. You see, I've been self-conscious, anxious, I've been overweight, I've been just struggling through life. But when you realize and I take a deeper look into who you are, like the real qualities of who you are, we have all the resources we need. And so with that passion and commitment of recording videos and audios and podcasts, and I mean, it really exploded from getting 2 the first time, which was probably me and my dad just listening to my own first podcast in the first month. But it quickly transformed into some phenomenon which I couldn't stop. I mean, it was going to thousands a week, to 10,000 a month, to now getting over 250,000 downloads a month in over 8 million times in 218 countries around the world. And that just fills me up because, you know, we're doing something great here. We're really helping people to realize their potentiality in such big, I mean, 218 countries, that just blows my mind, getting that in the over 8 million downloads. I mean, wow, that's what happens when you realize you can make changes. If you believe in yourself enough, you release the limitations. I mean, this was a kid who wouldn't speak to their grandparents, and now I speak in front of 500 people, and all the downloads and the audios and the YouTubes and all those things. It's like you can bridge that gap if you put your mind to it. You can let go of your issues. You can let go of those beliefs of not being good enough or worthy or capable. And it's just about finding the right solution for you. And I mean, I believe I have that solution. I mean, I've just studied this for 15 years of my life, spend well over $120,000 in researching how the mind works and researching getting better and applying and realizing what works and doesn't work. And after that period of time and that amount of money and actually investing in myself, you get to know the answers, and I'm committed in sharing those. I mean, it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, if you're not having fun, there's no point doing it. So yeah, it's really an empowering thing to make that breakthrough within yourself. And I'm just dedicated in sharing that with so many people, because I know as entrepreneurs we have so much to give, and we get in our own way sometimes, and we just got to figure out that solution. And we can do that. We can do that together. So why do I do what I do? Well, I've been there. I've been through my own issues. I've been through the darkness. I've been through that fear and that doubt and that scarcity mindset, the beliefs of not being good enough or capable. But I figured it out. And I don't want anyone to be in that situation. I want people to serve the world to their highest potentiality, to be an example to everyone else, whether it be through business, and family, and relationships, with your employees, all those things, to be that example of what can be done on this earth. And I think when you break things down, when you see people transform and take their business and their life and their relationships, their health to a whole new level, I mean, you can't put a price on that. And seeing that happen every single day, I mean, that's why I do what I do. I'm just so passionate about you and everyone else to shine in this world, to make a difference. I mean, we've all got that. We just got to make that happen. Make that decision to take a stand for what is right. And what is right is whatever you want. I mean, if you're congruent and you're committed, you can achieve anything. Yeah, I mean, I just fell into this. I fell into it through my own issues, and somehow along the way I managed to master how the mind works. And I mean, that's when you figure that out, you become unstoppable. In business, making millions or impacting millions. Having a deeper, I mean, this is not just about money, it's not about just business, it is about deeper connection with who you are. To realize that you have everything you need. To realize you can have that peace, that inner fulfillment, contentment, no matter where you are on your journey, whilst taking massive inspired action. When you realize that, not just know it, conceptually know it, but to realize it, to make it happen, you begin to see so many possibilities. You get to see a world in a whole different way. And you wake up every day just waiting to make an impact. Yeah, and rather being a product of life, to allow life to be a product of what you choose to create. That's where it's at.